J.C. Newman Cigar Studio in Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Smokin Nicole.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTobacco.com, and I am joined once again by my beautiful wife, Smokin Nicole. And we have another great show for you guys here tonight, which we'll get into in a second. We have Manolo from Casa 1910 Cigars on with us. We'll bring him on in just a second. But Nicole, how are you?
Doing good.
You're looking a little bundled up over there.
I'm extra tired this week. I've just been working a lot of late nights, and I don't know. I was feeling kind of lazy today. I decided to pull out the Smokin Tabacco swag for a change. I haven't worn it in a while. Not that it's like a fashion faux pas or anything, but usually I dress a little nicer than this.
We got the beanie on too. I mean, it's not that cold.
I mean, hold on. It's rainy today. It's a little bit warmer. It's 65. We're here in New England. All the leaves are falling. We can get away with it. We have the garage door open. So
That's true.
it's a little chilly, a little nippy. So what are you smoking tonight?
Well, we're gonna smoke Casa 1910 tonight.
But which one?
I just had it. Oh shit! Hold on. This is the shit. Wow. No, that was the one you had. I just had it too, and I forgot that. Oh, here it is.
I'm smoking the Robusto.
Oh, the Lucero. The Lucero.
You're smoking the Lucero.
I'm smoking the Lucero.
And this is I'm probably gonna butcher it, but the Chuchillo Parado. Did I say that right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Manolo's gonna probably have to.
Have to correct me.
Yeah, on the pronunciation. I mean, we're not the best with pronunciation over here, so, but we do our best. Spanish is not our first language, and it's we're in a community that there's a lot of Spanish speaking people that we interact with. So a lot of times you get cigars or you get names and stuff, and I always get this like anxiety too, just like you see someone, especially when it's someone's name, right? A cigar name, it's like if you fuck that up, you fuck that up. But like if someone's name, I don't want to insult them. You know what I mean? So it's like you're like,
I feel
I
the
know
same.
I'm gonna get this wrong, and I feel so bad, but I just don't know. And then it's always like you do your best, and then they correct you, and you're like, you just feel like shit after, and you're like, sorry.
I feel the same exact way. It's fine. But how was your week?
It was good. It was busy.
Yeah.
I had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of work to do.
I mean, you don't want to tell people about what happened on Tuesday night?
What happened on Tuesday night?
Matthew had a week.
What
to
happened
say
on
the
Tuesday
least.
night?
The brisket incident.
Oh, well, so I haven't, so we're at Costco, and if you follow us on social media, you know that we're big Costco people.
Love Costco.
Although we have Costco and BJ's membership, so we have like
We're buying club people.
the dynamic duo
Warehouse Club.
of Warehouse Club memberships. We don't really have Sam's Club around here, so if we did, I don't think we would need it, but we have BJ's and we have Costco. So it depends on what we need though, because they both have whatever the other one doesn't, more or less, right? We prefer to buy the meats at Costco usually, just because they usually have a nicer selection and it's a slightly better deal. And then like more of the dried stuff and packaged stuff we buy at BJ's. But we were at Costco and we were loading up on meat for the next couple of weeks because we buy it in bulk. So that's how we do it. And Nicole was like, "Hey, I've never cooked a brisket. Let's cook a brisket. They're cheap." And it'll be something to do. And I was like, all right, cool. And so we grabbed a bunch of different things and a brisket, and then we marinated it for like 3 days. And
I made a great marinade, so I'm the one who marinated it.
I felt bad too.
We don't have a smoker, so we were like, okay, we'll do it low and slow in the oven, and we'll try that route. But my marinade was like a cup of bourbon, did like some nice Four Roses, cup of brown sugar, some mustard, Worcestershire, like the whole thing. We didn't just put some bottled crap on it. And so I did marinate it, but I ended up having to work late. And so
Yes.
Matthew attempted cooking it. And what happened?
I followed the
Matthew?
recipe. I did exactly what it said to do. I put it in the oven for the right temperature. I cooked it to the temperature it said to cook it at. And then it was, to unfoil it and all that. And we have some friends down with Dan Thompson's with us tonight from Texas. So I mean they know brisket and barbecue down there. So
We're embarrassed.
It's kind of
what
embarrassing to tell the
happened.
story to some true barbecue people. But no, and it wasn't. I took it out halfway through, and that thing was tougher than tire, and I
And
was like,
how long
it's
did you
not
have it in
tendering.
for? Like 4 hours, right?
In total,
Yeah.
where I threw in the towel,
Yeah.
like 4.5, 5 hours, and that thing was tougher than the tires on my truck. I'm like, what happened?
And then he dropped it and like splattered it all over the kitchen. And
Well, I
I
was
think
picking it up, and it went back into the pan with all the drippings that were below, and
so it ended up going in the trash, which sounds horrible, but I guess it was so inedible. And Matthew ordered a calzone. So if anyone has tips on how to at home barbecue without a smoker and make
well, to
a
be fair,
brisket,
your dad was with me too, and your dad's somewhat of a cooking
Yeah.
aficionado as well. I don't know what the right term is, but I think people know what I'm cooking. And I even had him. I'm like, John, can you tell me like what's going on? And he looked at it and he's like, yeah, man, I don't know. I think you fucked up. And I'm like, but I don't understand what I did. And he tasted it and he's like, yeah, that's not right. I'm like, I don't know what happened. He's like, well, I mean, there's some things you could do with it. And I'm like, I'm too hungry at this point. I'm just gonna throw in the towel. I'm just gonna order.
it was a
pizza.
lot more like angry than that. But
It wasn't
from
that
what I heard.
bad. I was just very disappointed. You gotta understand too. Like I waited all day to eat that dinner. I skipped lunch for that. I'm like, oh, I got this huge brisket. Nicole's working late. I'm gonna have to tackle this thing by myself. And so I was hangry too. And then you get to that point when you're like, I just wasted 5 hours trying to put this together, and I'm not any closer to eating a meal. So I was like, I gotta wait at least
Yeah.
another hour to get pizza.
So we messed up a whole Costco brisket. So we need some help. Thanks, Dan. So brisket in Texas is awesome. I defer to Brian McGee.
That's right, Brian McGee
We're
too.
gonna have to
That's right, Brian
call
McGee.
in
That's a
the
good call.
cavalry to help us out here. So
When Carney hears about it, I mean, even Carney, I don't know how much barbecue-based stuff he does, but even Carney's going to be like, dude, that's fucking embarrassing. What are you
yeah,
doing?
we messed up. We need help. Help. SOS for our brisket. Anyway, we should probably welcome on our guests now.
Yes, yes. As promised, we have with us tonight from Casa 1910, our friend Manolo joins us from, I believe he's in Mexico City. Manolo, how are you?
Hey, hello.
Welcome to the Smokin
Nice to see
Tabacco
you,
Show.
Luis.
Nice to see you. Now, you're in Mexico City, correct? Is that what you said you were?
Right.
Yeah.
In Mexico City.
What's the weather like down there?
Right now, it's very hot, but in the morning, it's very cold, and maybe in a few minutes, maybe can raining.
Mm.
It's very crazy weather here in Mexico City.
So it's not too far off of what we have right now. It's probably definitely warmer where you are, but it's raining here, or it's at least it was raining. I don't know. It might have
It's been
stopped.
colder.
It's just kind of shitty all around. It's like a mix of everything. It was cloudy. It was rainy. It was cold. A little windy today. Not
Cold
enjoyable.
enough to break out the hat.
Yeah.
It's beanie time. up
I
here.
I'd wait a little more, but I run hot. So
It was like, what are you talking about? It was like 40s the other night.
yeah, the night, not now.
Yeah, but still, we're in that season.
If you turn that heater on, I'm gonna really lose it because I'm sweating. Our kitchen runs hot too, so we usually have dinner upstairs, and then we come down and do the show. So I'm usually very hot by the time I get on here. But no, we're smoking Casa 1910 tonight. Casa 1910 may be a newer brand or a brand you're not familiar with, and we'll talk about that with Manolo. We already started our cigars, but I will mention our cutters and lighters are provided by Cigar Blondie Accessories. The beautiful Cigar Blondie set. Nicole's got the white set. I got the chrome set. These are awesome. The signature Blade Flame from Cigar Blondie Accessories. Go and check them out at cigarblondie.com. So Manolo, welcome to the show. We're going to talk Casa 1910 tonight. I know that Jamie and Serge are supposed to be with you, but there was some other things that changed at the last minute. So now you're going to do this solo. But that's fine. You get to soak in all the limelight to yourself.
All the attention's on you.
Yeah. Sorry for the part for Serge and Jamie. It's shit happens, here in Mexico City, and
Does.
the new brand, and the new business is very complicated situation. But we are here with Casa 1910, and you guys, thank you for inviting us, and we are here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we first met you guys last year at the 2021 PCA trade show. We had planned on coming to see you guys again this year, I know you guys had some new stuff that you were showing this year that you didn't have last year. We did not get to the booth this year. As many people know, our entire trade show schedule kind of got fucked up and Nicole got sick, and we kind of lost the second half of the show because of that. So we didn't get to check in with you at the show, but last year, I believe that was your first year. You guys made your debut at the show last year in 21, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, PCA 2021. It's our first trade show in the US.
Yeah, and you guys were showing, I believe it was just this cigar, which I can't remember which one this is.
The Robusto, it's a cuchillo parado.
Yes. Now, I remember you guys had that last year, and now this year you brought a whole bunch of other cigars with you too. We didn't really get to catch up with you, so you're gonna have to do this right on the show. We'll walk through the collection of what you have. But the biggest thing is you guys are a Mexican brand. You guys are a Mexican luxury brand, and you guys use a lot more Mexican tobaccos than I would say most other cigar makers use, right? So just tell us, as an introductory to the brand for those who might know, what makes the Casa 1910 cigars different than what most people are seeing on shelves right now?
Okay, well, um, first of all, Casa 1910. 1910 is the year of the Mexican Revolution began, and the cigar of Cuchillo Parado, the Robusto, is the name for the first battle for the Mexican Revolution. And actually, it's our first battle in the tobacco business. It's our first release, the Robusto. It's 100% made with Mexican tobacco. And well, what's the difference about Casa 1910? We are very young people, very passionate people about the for my side about the tobaccos, about the experience, about the flavors, the aromas, the flavor profile, the organoleptic profile. I'm uh, a very geek person about the tobaccos, about the cigars, because I love make a lot of experiments. I love make a lot of tastings with new cigars, vintage cigars, every country, and every blends. I love this product with the tobacco leaves, about the cigars. Okay, and we have an entire team with very young people, very passionate people about the brand, about the fields, about the leaves, about the cigars, about the colors, about everything. Casa 1910 meaning. We need to make a good experience for every cigar aficionado, for every people. We have our first time with the cigar, and the rookies and the professional smokers. We need to make good experience for all people. This is our passion. This is our way of living or work. We need to make good stuff, good cigars. When I make new cigars, I need make better cigars for the last. We need to make all with perfection. You know.
Absolutely. You're trying to put the best thing out there that you can. One of the things I read about, one of the things that you guys are doing with your cigars and your tobaccos, you age your tobacco for a minimum of 5 years. Now I couldn't remember, is that a tobacco or is that on the cigar post roll? Where is that 5 year aging?
Depends of the cigar. About the Revolutionary Edition, is with this cigar, the Tierra Blanca, or the Cuchillo Parado, the Robusto.
Yep.
I make this cigar with Negro San Andres. The Cuchillo Parado, it's a filler and binder, Negro San Andres with 5 years aged before be rolled.
Okay.
After be rolled, I rest the cigar for 6 to 8 months minimum for the perfect balance and the perfect smoke. And the Tierra Blanca, I made this cigar with 5 different types of Negro San Andres, the ligero and the seco, we growing the tobacco in the dry season. You know, it's very different about the season with the rainings. It's a lot of different. Okay, and every leaf is with 5 years aged, and the wrapper it's a Negro San Andres with two fermentations for the perfect color, for the perfect flavor, and we aging the leaf with 5 years uh, before we roll.
So basically, I mean, the Casa 1910 cigars are Mexican puros, which is not something that we traditionally see a lot of.
For the Revolutionary Edition with Tierra Blanca, Cuchillo Parado, it's 100% made in Mexican tobacco, made in Mexico in San Andres Valley, Veracruz.
Yeah.
It's a Mexican puro. But the Cabaret Edition, it's the Lucero, actually.
Yep.
The Jilguero, it's a Gordo. And the As de Oro, it's a Toro 6 by 54. It's a blend made in Nicaragua with Mexican tobacco, Nicaraguan tobacco, and Ecuadorian tobacco for two cigars, the Lucero and the As de Oro. Jilguero is just Mexican tobacco and Nicaraguan tobacco, made in Esteli, Nicaragua.
Interesting. Yeah, because I remember when the first cigars came out, that was the conversation we had at the first trade show, and I just remember my takeaway from that was like, wow, I mean, these guys are trying to really come out with this, real premium Mexican puro, which is something that a lot you don't see a lot of, right? But you guys had kind of a different spin on it. You had your story. I remember trying those cigars for the first time. They were great. I'd had those before, and it was different. And I liked that you guys had that different approach to the cigar business that you were working with, and that you guys have since expanded, and you're working with other tobaccos now too. But what would you say the biggest challenge was, if any, with that first cigar, using all the Mexican tobaccos and growing them in the dry season and all that, compared to other cigars that are on the market today?
Well, I told you my experience with the Cuchillo Parado, for example. Uh, when I go to the San Andres Valley, I'm looking for the tobacco leaves, the fields, the correct cigar rollers, and it's very hard. It's very hard to make a good cigar. It's very hard to find the perfect tobacco leaf, the perfect fermentation process, the perfect field. It's very complicated to take the good the good stuff for the cigar, and you need to make a lot of mistakes in the experiments. You need to make good smokes and bad smokes. Actually, the most part of the experiment is a word. It's a shit experiment. Okay, it's
You have to fail before
uh,
you can succeed.
yeah, and when you take the last experiment, the best experiment, I don't feel good with that. I need to make better cigar, but right now in this moment, my expertise, my the the elements around me, it's the best better to make a good cigar. The perfect cigar roller, the perfect fields, the perfect aging tobacco. Because I try with 3 years aged, 4 years aged, 5 years, actually 10 years aged. But the 5 years aged for me it's the best option for the correct expression for the Mexican tobacco. Between 4 to 6 years, it's a good expression for Negro San Andres. About the wrapper, for example, the Cuchillo Parado, it's a Sumatra wrapper growing in Mexico. And I aged this wrapper for 3 years because the wrapper, because it's very tight, don't you don't need to a lot of fermentation. You don't need to a lot of aging. Just need make a good and beautiful wrapper. When you have all elements for make a good cigar, the second interesting part it's find the perfect shape for the cigar. It's because we have 5 different cigars, 5 different blends, and in 5 different shapes. It's the reason.
Right. Dan Thompson's in the comments here too. You can probably see this on the screen, but Dan's trying to get ahead of us here. Which I was going to get to. It was kind of maybe going a little bit backwards, but Dan said to ask you about how and where you learned, and that it's a great story. So I will let you tell that story.
Okay. Well, um, I I'm a lawyer, but I need to be happy, to live happy, and I prefer the wine, the whiskey, the rum, the tequila, of course, because I'm from Guadalajara, Jalisco, the land of tequila. And when I got to study the red wine sommelier, I'm trying my first cigar 15 years ago, and I'm falling in love in the tobacco. And my teacher about the sommelier um, told me about the if you like the cigar, if you like the tobacco, you need to go to the land of tobacco. You need to go to Cuba. You need to go to Nicaragua. You need to go to Dominican Republic. You need to go to San Andreas, and you need to talk not just with the master blenders, not just with the tobacco shop owners. You need to talk with the people, the growners, the vegueros in Cuba. You need to talk with the farmers. You need to talk with the people in the pre-industria, the people that takes the all tobaccos in Cuba and the curing process, make a curing process, make a fermentation, and you need to ask a lot of questions. And I got to Cuba. I talk with a lot of people. I have right now a lot of beautiful and big and bigger masters of tobacco and I have expertise and I have a little because I have a perfect, perfect masters in Cuba, in Nicaragua, in Dominican Republic, in Mexico, and of course we need to make and to take certifications about Cuba in Habanos S.A. I take the junior Habanos sommelier, the senior Habanos sommelier, and the master Habanos sommelier. The master Habanos sommelier is the highest certificated Habanos S.A. in Cuba about the Cuban cigars. And I'm looking a lot of certification about tobacco, but I don't look the paper, the certificate. I'm looking the information. I'm looking the knowledge. And when I take the certificate, uh, I, I don't have the certificates in the wall. I have the certificates in a box, but I I have a lot of boots with earth for the tobacco fields. And I go in several fields in entire Cuba, in some places in Nicaragua, and make a lot of experiments, make a lot of classes with these masters. And right now, I have 60 certificates, different certificates about the spirits, wine, and tobacco and marketing and stuff. but I have more masters about certificates. You know.
Right. Now, let me ask you a question. So, just out of curiosity, so when you go to Cuba and everywhere else, and you're learning about the tobaccos and cigar making and all of that, do you tell people, that you're trying to learn so you can make your own cigars, or do you sell it? You do put it off as like, I'm just trying to learn about tobacco because I love the cigars and all that, and then you just kind of take that knowledge and you come back and you just kind of run with that. Because I know I've talked to some people where it's like, yeah, like when I learned about tobacco, I just kind of did it like I was just, like you said, like I'm just a cigar geek. I'm just really into the information. And not because, and I didn't tell anyone it's because I wanted to make cigars. I just wanted to learn. And then once I learned, I went back and I started making my own cigars. So they could get
I
those
know.
secrets from people. You know what I mean? Because it's like if people if people know you're just trying to get their secrets so you can make your own stuff, they might not tell you as much information.
I know. It sounds very easy, but it's very complicated. Because when you go to Cuba, for hey, hello, I'm a cigar aficionado. I need to make some questions about the cigars, about the process. Okay, welcome, and please take some minutes with this group and take a tourist show in the factory on the fields. But for my side, I have a lot of lucky because when I go to Cuba, I make I know the Cuban rum. I'm falling in love in Cuban rum,
Mm, very good.
and I take a job with an importer from Mexico, from Cuban rum to Mexico, and I take a lot of relationship with the rum producers in Cuba, and these people in Cuba about the rum take in meeting with me a lot of people with the tobacco, and this job uh, connecting me with the importers of Cuban tobaccos in Mexico. And these people offered to me a job about the marketing manager and advocacy in Habanos S.A. from Mexico. And this is like a couple of doors open very big for me about the knowledge in Cuban tobacco. And I take everything
Oh no, he's freezing.
and I hiding
Uh-oh. I think, is he back? He's still a little choppy. Oh no. I think we got him back now. You
You
froze
froze for a
there for
minute.
like the last minute or so. We lost that last minute of whatever you just said.
Well, the last couple
Yeah,
sentences.
the last couple of sentences we lost you.
okay.
Sorry, it froze
Uh,
up.
you hear me okay right now?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're
yeah, you're
better
back
now.
now. Yep.
Okay. Well,
You had said they'd offer you a job, um, and that the marketing would, and then I lost it after that.
yeah, and I take the certifications about the senior Habanos sommelier and the master Habanos sommelier, and the people in Habanos S.A. Well, take these people take me and leave me in the fields of tobaccos with the master blenders of Cuban cigars, and this entire Bible for knowledge in the Cuban tobacco. And I take notes, a lot of notes. I make a lot of questions. Some people hate me about my questions because I asking a lot about the process, about the cigars, about the secrets, and I take a note, you know. But this is the about the Cuban tobacco. It's very very hard to go in the secrets of the factories. It's very
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, especially in Cuba. I mean, they're a little bit more. What's the right word?
Mm,
I want
I
to
don't want
say
to
the
say
word.
secretive, but protective.
Yeah, protective. I would say they're a lot more
Yeah,
protective in Cuba. I mean, they're all. I mean, more or less. A lot of these other companies are blenders or cigar makers, tobacco growers. More or less, they all have their secrets they don't want to share. Uh, to an extent, I would say maybe in Cuba it's a little bit more than probably some of the others that are out there. And Cuba as a country too. I mean, they're a little bit more secretive on their whole thing. So I could see.
it's the country of secrets.
Yes. So I could see it in Cuba, especially more than maybe in Nicaragua or the Dominican Republic. So that can be a challenge too. But of course, you just you take in whatever they do give you, you write it down, you remember it, you bring that inside, and you keep that knowledge. Um, and that's amazing though. The fact that you went through all that time and you sought all that out and learned all the different aspects of those and you went through the certifications and all that. That's at the end of the day it's good to have, that knowledge, the information, and you'll always have that with you and you'll use it, as you move forward with your own projects. Um, Now after that, you start coming into okay, the formation of Casa 1910, and I know that you were supposed to have Serge and Jamie with you. At what point, where do you meet them, and how did they come into this circle with you?
Well, it's very interesting because um, Serge and Jamie are Swiss guys, but the Casa 1910 idea born about 2 years and a half ago when Jamie invited me for make a host uh, in the tasting with Habanos, okay? And I'm go at the tasting for the Swiss community live in Mexico in the cigar bar here in Mexico City. When I know Jamie and talk about when the tasting ends, I talk a lot of times with Jamie about the Mexican tobacco and maybe the goals, the future goals for the Mexican tobacco, the premium tobaccos, and other topics about that. And the third person meeting with us, it's Serge, a few weeks later. And we have a lot of meetings talk about the Mexican tobacco, Nicaraguan tobacco, Dominican Republic, and Cuban tobacco. And Jamie says me, well, we like to make a good Mexican cigar. What do you think, Manolo? And I say, well, do you like make a good cigar? I need to make a good Mexican cigar. And this is the first talks about the Casa 1910. But in the beginning, it's not called the Casa 1910. It's just a good Mexican cigar, and we go to San Andres. We talk with a lot of people. We talk to the farmers. We talk to the owners for the a lot of factories in San Andres, and we make a lot of experiments with different people with different tobaccos, but it's very lucky for us because the actual factory in the San Andres Valley, it's orange. Okay,
Okay.
when Jamie Search and I see the factory, the orange color, and here is here is the place. We know the people, and we talk and talk and talk, and well, everything works. The all stuff it works, and here we are.
It's funny that you mentioned the orange because um, I have one of the bags here. Um, the cigar bags, with the Casa 1910 on the back. We have one of the bags here, which and I don't have one of the boxes with me, but I've seen the boxes in person at the show and
Yep.
stuff like that. Oh, they're
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, the boxes, all the packaging, but especially the boxes. I mean, that's like the main thing you're gonna see on the shelves in the store. Just amazing. Like, it's one thing we don't always talk a lot about is packaging, but you guys have great packaging. I just want to say that
Thank you.
it's I
We
know
love
that
a good eye-catching color.
the eye-catching color,
Yeah.
the orange pops. When it's on the shelf, it pops. It sticks right out. It catches your eye. If I remember correctly, the boxes have like a soft touch to them too, um,
Yeah,
like a silky kind of texture to them. Yeah. So it's a really, it does emit that luxury aspect to it too. When you have the box and you open it and you see the color, you see the texture of the box. It's a nice material. Um, you have the shelf talker right there in the front
It
too.
has the gold embossing.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is just beautiful. The orange ribbons inside too. Yeah, that is just a great presentation. There's one thing I will
great.
say
Thank
when
you.
when it comes to packaging a presentation, I know it's not the first, or maybe it's not the most important thing, but it is an important aspect of the whole product. And just what's the one thing about Casa 19? I always remember like orange, 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 orange whenever I think of that name, and it's easily to remember. And I think that it's good for a consumer who they walk into a store, they grab the cigar, they like it, they come back, they forget your name, right? Happens all the time. But do you remember it was orange box. Oh, Casa 1910. It's one of those, and we've talked about other manufacturers um, um, like Crux, like Sam
Yep.
Ventura from Crux was on a few weeks ago with what they have done with their packaging and the boxes with the bright colors, simplistic, very clean, and then the colors. It's easy to remember, which I think is
Yeah,
also important too from a marketing standpoint when you're trying to get your consumers engaged and try to remember the product too. So just first of all, well done with that too. But I didn't know that
thank you.
that backstory with the factory being orange, and that leading to kind of like the inspiration behind the theming behind the brand.
Well, the Jamie, Serge, and I, we have different jobs in the brand in the business. Jamie, it's more like a financial and economics and the boring stuff. And Serge, it's more like a crazy guy with the color,
The
with
designer.
the little details and the marketing. And I in the process and about the production and a little bit in the other stuff in the factory in the business. But um, when when I take some meetings with the design um, people, we talk about the Mexico, the Mexican flag, the Mexican Revolution. We have a lot of meetings about the name of the brand, about the name of the cigars, about the logotype, about the colors. It's very, very crazy. And I don't have the count for the meetings with the design people about the inspo, but the color orange and the white and the green, it's an honor for the Mexican flag because the Mexican flag it's red, white, and green.
Hmm.
But about the law here in Mexico, we can use the original colors for the Mexican flag. Okay, it's totally prohibited, but we need to change the red for the orange. It's a kind of red color, the
Hmm.
orange, and it fits perfect with the brand, with the colors, and all inspiration for the brand. And about the logotype it's the representation for the Mexican shield for the Mexican flag. If you remember the Mexican flag, it's a eagle, takes an snake in the cactus, the nopal, the cactus, and you need to make. I make some zoom for the logotype.
That's cool. That's really well
Okay,
done.
this
That's
is
really well done too.
cool. This is eagle claw
Right.
takes a snake, okay, but it's like a Mexican flag, but it's like an analogy with a hand takes a cigar with the smoke and other sophisticated topics about the inspiration, but it's all Mexico. The logotype, the colors, all it's about the Mexico. All cigars have Mexican tobacco in the one of two ways, and this is our signature: Mexico, 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 and the perfect balance with the marketing, with good pictures, with good photos, with good social media, but everything is shit if you have a shit cigars. Okay, you need to make a good balance with entire material, good box, good colors, good cigar, good
Right.
marketing, good cigars. It's everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, as much as, the cigars and the tobaccos you use, and you alluded to this already, that's important, but in today's society, marketing is a huge part of any kind of product, right? So having your good presentation with your marketing, your colors, your branding, your packaging, and all of that is important too. And I really like how you guys have really brought every aspect of the Mexican identity to your brand, to represent that, the Mexican brand, Mexican tobaccos. You have, the aspects from the flag and the colors, and it really brings it all together. And I think it's important to really showcase that, highlight that, make sure it's there, it's represented. Cigars, a lot of time, we're talking about Nicaragua, the Dominican, Cuba, like you mentioned before, Honduras. But Mexico, when it comes to brands, there hasn't been a lot of that. So you guys you've taken that and really just stuck it all out there. Like, our identity is a Mexican brand. This is who we are. And I think that's great. You guys have really, it's like a sense of pride, right? You have that, your Mexican pride that you put into your brand and you put it out there, to really represent yourselves and your cigars at the same time, which is really nice.
Thank you.
One thing we're gonna do first is we're gonna read our news really quick. So we're gonna take a pause from you. We're gonna do our news and we're gonna come right back to you.
Sure.
Our news once again is brought to you by Micallef Cigars. If you head over to micallefcigars.com today, you can sign up to become an official ambassador. And while you're at it, head over to their Facebook group and join their Micallef Ambassadors group. They're one of the best fan bases or followers or whatever you want to call them, outside of just ambassadors of the cigar world for any brand at Micallef Cigars. This week, CIO will ring in the holiday season with a 12 days box. Now, we're starting to see more and more of the advent calendar kind of thing. Smoke Inn did it last year. Oliva came out with one. I know Pete Johnson has one. Actually, I think he had last year's and he has another one for this year. I think they're both coming out this year.
Yeah,
But
because there was a delay, I think, right?
yeah, Pete had an issue. Sorry, Pete had a delay or something like that. His
Yeah.
got pushed back. I don't think they made it for holiday last year, but I think he's still gonna ship them. I don't remember exactly on that. I'd have to follow up. But CAO is going to do one. The 12 days box. CAO is kicking off the season with an advent calendar inspired box that's filled with a treasure trove of brands highly rated of the brand's highly rated blends. New for 2022, the CAO 12 days box follows the modern advent calendar format with a unique gift is hidden behind a door to be opened consecutively for a series of days leading up to the holidays. CAO fans who purchase the 12 cigar box will receive a dozen Toro-sized smokes, each representing the brand's top-selling collections. This will carry a suggested retail price of $108 for the 12-pack, and it will contain one of the following: the MX2 Toro, the Italia Gondola, the Brasilia Samba, American Monument, the Steel Horse Bullneck, the Flathead Camshaft, the Columbia Magdalena, the Pilon Toro, Session Garage, Sorry, I'm out of breath there. I'm trying to do a coupe, trying to say it fast. Bones Blind Huey, the Zocalo Toro, and the BX3 Toro. The CAO 12 Days box will ship to retailers this week and will be in select stores starting on or about October 17th. So if you're interested in that, you can head over to your local CAO retailer, and you can pick one of those up starting on the 17th. And if you want to read more about that, you can head over to smokintabacco.com for more information. There's been a lot of other interesting releases from General that are on there as well. You can read about it. Punch's got one, El Rey del Mundo, and Diesel.
It's going to be the year of advent calendars.
I think
advent
so.
Calendars.
Last year we said that, but I think you're going to see even more this year.
I think a lot of them, just due to getting the packaging right,
yes,
had to be postponed. But I think this year you're going to see a lot more of them. And I'm a huge fan of the wine advent calendar at Costco.
Again, Costco. We said it again. Costco's got a wine one. It's nice. It's really nice, especially if you don't want to open a whole bottle. You can just open like this little small bottle of wine each day. It's great.
Yep.
All right, back to Manolo. Going to bring him on here. We're getting towards the end of the show here. We have a few minutes left. So Manolo, so we've covered a lot about the origins of the company, the history of the brand, and what you guys already have. What are you guys working on moving forward to continue to grow and add to this collection? Anything else that's maybe really different from what you have? Something that's maybe kind of outside of Mexican tobaccos, or are you going to kind of stick with the Mexican tobaccos and more your blends moving forward?
Well, right now we have two different lines. The Revolutionary Edition, made in Mexico with all Mexican tobacco inside. And we have the Cabaret Edition with three new cigars, the Jilguero, As de Oro, and Lucero. It's a blend with Nicaraguan tobacco and Mexican tobacco. And in the main future, we release a new line from, well, it's a news, very news, but it's the new line. It's with a Dominican Republic tobacco,
Ooh.
other countries tobacco, but our signature, remember, it's Mexican tobacco in all cigars. And when I make a cigar, we need when I make a blend, I need to release to put in the most beautiful part about the cigar, the Mexican tobacco. I need to when I make a blend, I need to show the flavor for the Mexican tobacco. I make a good play with the Dominican Republic tobacco, with the Nicaraguan with Nicaraguan tobacco. For example, I make with I take the tannins for the Negro San Andres tobacco.
Yep.
The roasted, the toasted, the cacao, the coffee beans, and take the volcanic, the mineral flavors with the Nicaraguan tobacco. I make a good blend with that. And with the Dominican Republic, I take other kind of elements for the Dominican Republic tobacco, make a good pairing with the Negro San Andres tobacco and another kind of Mexican tobaccos for make a different organoleptic expressions and different suggested pairings with the entire cigars. For 2023, we have 9 different cigars. Right now, we have 5 different cigars: de Cuchillo Parado, Tierra Blanca, de Jilguero, As de Oro, and de Lucero. For the 2023, we have 1 new cigar from Mexico, 3 in total in the Revolutionary Edition, 3 on Nicaragua line for Cabaret Edition, and 3 new ones with the Dominican Republic, made in Dominican Republic in Santiago de los Caballeros with Mexican tobacco for 2023. It's the news for us. 9 cigars for 2023 in total.
Wow.
And will they be debuting at PCA? Like, when will you be showcasing them next year?
Actually, the new line from Dominican Republic and Mexico We show in the TPE
Okay.
Oh, TPE.
in
Okay, so that's coming
2023.
up. Oh,
Yep.
that's coming up.
Yeah,
So the first part of the
yeah.
year.
Oh, so that's
A-
soon.
Actually, the people would come to the event, the Casa 1910 experience in November this year. These people tried the new ones from Dominican Republic, the new releases. But the official release it's on the TPE.
Okay.
The pre-release is in November in the Casa 1910 experience, but the official release is a TPE for 2023.
You know, I had talked to. I know you were on the Cigar Coop show, and Coop's a good friend of mine, and we talked a little bit about that. And he had mentioned the Casa 1910 experience. Tell me a little bit more about that. What is the Casa 1910 experience? What people experience during that?
Okay, in the 18th to 20th of November, actually it's the Revolution Day in Mexico. Okay, it's the official party for the Mexican Revolution. And for the 18th, we have a great cocktail, welcome cocktail in the Friday, in the night. The Saturday, in the 19th, it's all day with Mexican experience and workshops. You can make a hat, and a special hat. You can make your proper cigar with our cigar rollers. You can try the grado puro. The grado puro, it's a little cigar with one kind of tobacco from Negro San Andreas. With the you can try with the volado, 100% made with volado, 100% made with the seco and the ligero, and you can try all different types of Negro San Andres, and you can see the folklore from Mexico, the dancing, the mariachis, the charreadas. It's like a Mexican cowboys make a very great show, and of course music with the mariachis, with from musicians from Veracruz take a lot of music, Mexican food, of course, good tequila, good cigars, entire Saturday in an amazing hacienda, in an amazing old house in Mexico City. And and the Sunday for 20th, it's in the morning, a little brunch with, of course, great food, great cigars, and good cocktails and good micheladas for hangover. You need some micheladas from the hangover,
Yeah.
and yeah, the all experience about Mexico, mariachi, cigars, tequila, micheladas, and good people, good houses, charros, and the rest on the Sunday you can go to visit. It's a free time. You can go to the Zocalo, the downtown in the Mexico City. You can go to the Chapultepec Castle, and well, we have a lot of experience here in Mexico City.
Right.
This is the Casa 1910 experience. Our goal is make this experience every year in November for the people, for the world, for Europe, from the US, from Mexico, or our friends for the brand, or customers, or the final customers, cigar aficionados, and and entire people with they love the brand and love smoke and love Mexico.
And and how many people is this open to?
Mm, right now, there are 100 people.
And how do people if someone wanted to go, how would they get into that?
Well, our first Casa 1910 experience right now, it's for the customers, the tobacco shop owners in the Europe and the US and Mexico,
Oh, okay.
cigar influencers, cigar media, and very close people about the brand and investors and other people.
So it's more of an
But
invitation.
yeah,
Okay.
it's for invitation. The next year, or wishes, it's make the Casa 1910 experience most bigger for entire people, for entire cigar aficionados in entire world. But we are a small brand. We
Yeah.
are baby steps, baby steps.
Start small and you'll grow it. No, it sounds like a great time. Like I said, I had heard about it a little bit before in my conversations with a couple of other folks, and I didn't know a lot about it, but after you explained it sounds really cool. Um, Something really interesting. I think a lot of people would find that really cool. It's different too. I think it's different than some of the other stuff that goes on in the industry. So it's something to definitely look forward to, and hopefully it's a success and it does grow, and even more people can go to it in the future. Um, it sounds amazing.
Thank you.
We are running towards the end of the show, and we are running out of time. But before we wrap up, I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you for being here on the show. Thank you for the time and coming on and talking about the brand and telling us about the cigars and letting us smoke them with you and ask our questions and all that. We really appreciate it. And every time we get to meet up with you at the trade shows and whatnot, we appreciate your time. You guys have always been really nice and great to us. So I just want to say that first. Just nothing but respect for you guys, and really like what you guys are doing. And I look forward to everything else that you guys do in the future. But before we do wrap up, I just wanted to give you the opportunity to say something or promote something else or whatever you want to say before we close up the show.
No, well, thank you guys for the invitation about this show. It's a very pleasure to meet, talk about the people, and exercise my English conversation, of course. And you need to come to the Casa 1910 experience. You need to come, okay? Maria sent you all info about that. You need to come Casa 1910 experience, and
Okay.
all people. My invitation for you guys: try every cigars in your tobacco shops. Try from Mexico, try from Nicaragua, from Honduras, from very strange countries. Try, and try. It's a lot of people behind every cigar. You need to take a cigar. You need to take a time. You need to take um, a good experience with all cigars. And please try Casa 1910. Follow us in Casa 1910 MX in the social media, in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And well, this is my invitation. Try new cigars, try Mexico with Casa 1910. And thank you for see this show, Smoking Tobacco. Thank you.
Thank you, Manolo. Thank you very much. And everyone at home who's watching and listening, thank you very much for being here with us tonight. Or if you're listening later, thank you for downloading the show. And as always, you can always go to smokintabacco.com for more news and information from the cigar industry. You can find all of our social media links there. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and everywhere you can get your podcasts on all of the podcast apps. And this Saturday night, we'll be back again for another episode of the Spare Notes series with William Cooper. Last week was a great show. 2 weeks ago, the last Spare Notes episode. That was a great show. That was a lot went down on that show. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check out that episode, and we'll have even more for you this week. So that's going to do it for this week.
Yeah.
Unless, Nicole, you have anything you want to add.
And our friends at Apostate are going to be on
That's right.
next week.
That's right. Apostate Cigars will be with us next Thursday night, same time, same place. So don't forget to check out that show. We will be here smoking Apostate Cigars. We'll talk all about that brand and everything and what they are all about. Our great friends over there. So we look forward to that one. But with that, guys, that's going to do it. We'll see you next week. Take care and good
Bye.
night.